Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now it's been a while since we talked suppressors, and a lot of you in the Discord have been asking, where's the suppressor video? Where's the suppressor video? It's just took me a while to get round to it. So I've got 7 out of the 8 suppressors that I'll be using for the tests in front of me here. And I've just kept this very simple. So this is CG, which is the control group. So this is as, ignore my crude drawings. I could have probably printed these out in labels, but I'm just doing it being ad hoc. So this is as the STFU suppressors ship. So you've got tight, which the lines here signify the opening, not necessarily the size of the baffle. So you've got tight and then a wide open, tight, wide open, and you've got all these little different chambers. So there's 8 chambers in a normal STFU. So this is a control group. This is what, has shipped up till now. That's what we'll be testing as what's shipped to you guys. So then we've got a bunch of different setups. So TS1 is 4 chambers. So tight, open space in with 3 discs. Tight again, open space, tight again, open space. So we've got 4 foam chambers in this suppressor. TS2, we've reduced it down to 3 chambers. So you've got 2 chambers of 5 and the last one of 3. TS3, we've gone down to 2 chambers, so 2 larger chambers, both have 7 open size discs in here. So you've got tight, 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 and then you've got 2 chambers. I guess you can see where the trend's going in. I've been racking my brains over the past few months, just trying to figure out what's probably the best way to do it and test it. So TS4 is completely open. So you've got a tight disc at both ends, and then you've got a complete open chamber in the centre. TS5, we're doing a little bit of a hybrid here. So we're going half open chamber, half multi-chamber, like the original STFU. So big open space. And the stickers like this that are on here, it might look weird. This isn't how it's set up in, like, it isn't orientated properly in the suppressor. This is basically, I drill these out just to remind me. So as I'm packing them, I'll go tight first and I'll go down the list. So if you're looking at these, they're backwards. So you've got the open chamber here and then the tight chambers at the end. But then we've flipped it the other way around. So this one, I suppose it's weird that I've ripped them on like this and they're opposites, but this one starts off with the small chambers and then has got the big chamber at the end. So this is the way I'm going to start doing it, or start these tests, to see if we've got any vast differences. If we test them all and they're within like half a decibel of each other, we kind of figured out that, yeah, it might change a little bit, but it's not really worth all the hassle. Now, someone did say you should try cork, as in cork board. Now, I did buy some very expensive cork board off Amazon because it was the only stuff I could find in the thickness that I wanted. And I've tried to cut this out in the laser. This, you won't smell it on camera, but this absolutely stinks. And the problem is before you can get all the way through it, it's burning to a point where it stops cutting. I tried multiple different settings to try and get this right. And then I just gathered, I know someone shouted it out and said you should try it, and you could also say, well, you could go buy a die, like a cutting die, and stamp them out. But the problem with that is, and the reason why the laser's so good, is the file is centered. So these are completely centered. These might look a little bit off because it's where it's like singed the cork here. And after 4 attempts of trying to cut these out, I thought, you know what, it's not really worth the hassle. We can revisit it another time. There's only one more setup I'll be trying. This is going to take me a lot of time, and when I'm doing this, I'm going to be trying to record it as well. So it's going to be a super long, boring video. But if you're into suppressors and trying to be as quiet as possible, this might be for you. So there's one more I'm going to try, and we're basically just going to do a normal STFU setup. But every other tight baffle, I'm going to print out some solid plastic discs. So it's like you're going through like a foam baffle, but then so all the open ends are going to be foam. But then every other tight baffle is going to be a hard plastic. So there's 5, 1 at each end and 3 in the middle that are going to be a solid plastic, just to see if a material change like that, going from a solid material to a very, very squishy absorbent material, which is this JP foam, the Egg Precision foam that I put in the STFUs, see if it makes any difference. So the only reason I don't have that one here is because I've only just decided I'm going to do it. So I've got another suppressor downstairs which I'm going to use and just print some baffles out. I'll do that this evening. And the hopes, I mean, today is the 26th of August. In the hopes of trying to get this set up to maybe go to 6mm Airsoft this weekend and record it. I'll take my decibel meter. It's not going to be like super scientific. It's going to be like a layman's test. Do it as best as to my ability without some very specific recording equipment. So there'll also be a case of what it sounds like to me. And I know that sounds daft on camera. But yeah, I've got 7 suppressors built. An 8th one that I'm going to have to do before the weekend. They've all got this foam in. And if you're completely unaware to this, and this is the first time here, like I say, with the tight and the wide baffles, so that's a tight baffle. So you've got a very small exit for the BB to go through. And this is basically, the theory behind it is this is going to try and catch as much of that air. And then as it passes through the chambers, so you'll have, you know, in the normal STFU, you've got an open chamber like that, and then it's capped off like this. So you've got like this little cylindrical room, if you want to call it that, in between these two tight baffles. And it's to try and just dissipate the air as much as possible. And we've been on this journey. If you like literally come into the channel, or you're a new subscriber and you're thinking, what the hell is this all about? There is a playlist on the YouTube channel about suppressors where I started it. And, you know, when I was doing the STFUs, it took me a while to settle on a material, which is this stuff. And I was actually talking with Josh over at Airsmiths today, and he was trying to get his hands on some STFUs, and I was like, I just don't have them anymore. They've completely sold out. We did sell a lot of them, and he managed to get some from elsewhere. And he was saying, look, and I'm only repeating this. I'm sure he'll be fine with this, but he compared it, you know, with the Hex, with a Novrich suppressor, with the DTSS, which I think might be a silverback, and one other that I can't remember. And basically what he was saying was, in his test with HPA, this came out the quietest. And I do get people, you know, mainly people who bump into me in person. I bumped into someone at HC2 actually, and they were telling me that they absolutely love this suppressor. And there are people out there that aren't too fond of it. They say it's quiet, but the frequency is a little bit high pitched. So the whole reason for me doing these tests is basically to go, right, I've given you the STFU, here's where I've got to up till now, and before we go and do another batch of these STFUs, because there are a couple of changes that I want to make. I do want to make it tracer friendly, so what I'll be doing is changing this cap here, and maybe coming up with a way where, I don't know, maybe this is threaded on the inside and you can put in an insert, much like this one that we had with the VFC M4, and maybe put like a thread on it like that. So it's not what it's designed for, the STFU. It's literally designed to be the quietest suppressor as possible when you're fitting it to your HPA and your springers. Now these suppressors will go on anything. They'll go on electric guns, they'll go on gas guns as well. And, you know, they might suppress some of the sound, some of the report coming out the barrel, but with a lot of systems like gas and electric and spring as well, a lot of the noise is coming from the action, so you're going to get more noise from that than the end of the barrel. Quite a few people that said that they weren't getting the best results compared to others, or they were getting a slightly more metallic sound compared to others. A lot of guys that were saying that were out in Europe and they were shooting high joulage. And that seems to be a bit of a trend. Those that weren't getting super quiet results are running at 1.5, 2 joules or whatever. The other thing that I want to make a change to going forward is you've got this. I really like the design, the front of the design of the STFU. But what I think with high joule setups, especially those that are running these out in Europe, if you are pushing a ton of air very fast through one of these suppressors, as the BB leaves, I think what's happening is this bowl in the STFU is kind of acting as like a bit of a loudener. Doesn't happen around a joule, you know, anywhere from 0.8 to 1.14 joules, which is what we run here in the UK. And you know, Josh at Airsmith was saying this at 1.14 joules. It's the quietest suppressor I've found that's available to him. I think we'll just maybe change this and do some kind of geometry to try and dissipate the air without it, you know, potentially making it louder with high joule setups. So bit of a mouthful, and I'm probably, you know, barking at you at the camera, and you're probably here for GBB content. This isn't what you want. So just wanted to let you guys know, most of the people in the Discord that are, you know, interested in this stuff, what's going ahead. So once we find out, maybe we test all these and we find out that one is just phenomenally quieter than the rest of them. I don't know, take for example this one just seems to be quieter than the rest, then we'll probably move to that kind of format moving forward. Now, when we do a new batch of STFUs, there will be changes that I make. You know, you learn things as you go. Mainly the end cap. I'm not sure about the thread inside for the trace unit, because I think if people are buying this, they're not really buying it to take the baffles out to put a tracer in it. You're buying this because you want to be quiet. And if you want to be quiet and you want to be stealthy, you probably don't want tracer rounds coming out giving your position away, do you? You want to be as unseen as possible. So we'll be making some changes to the end cap, and also I've done a mini version of this. So I say mini, it's just not quite as gargantuan. So you're probably looking around about the thickness of this one here. This is just a crude example. So I think the mini, keep your dirty jokes to yourself, is probably about that long and that thickness. So it's just reducing it for those that want to maybe put it inside a rail and have it integrally suppressed, which you can't do with this. I love this suppressor. It's you know, a pet project of mine, and it's, to be honest, the sales have done really well. A lot of people at the beginning did moan about the price. It was pricey, but you've got to understand what this is. You know, there are manufacturers out there, out in China, wherever else, doing nicely, you know, nice looking suppressors. Now these are cast. The STFU is machined out of a solid billet of 70-75 aluminium. They're not the lightest, but it is designed to be nice and thick and try and contain as much of that resonance and sound in it as possible. So I get some people's criticism. We could change this and, you know, sort of reduce the length of it, but I think it's a good size. Everything that I've fitted it on, I've got on really well with it. It is a little bit chunky, which, you know, we'll be doing a mini version, like I say, but I just thought I'd keep you all updated. I will take all the cameras along with me, and I will try my best to record as much in-depth footage as possible. Whether that goes to plan, don't know yet. I've got another one to do, and thanks for tuning in. I know it's not super exciting stuff, but those of you that are interested in suppressors, I hope you appreciate it. And you know, there's going to be £800 worth of suppressors used, because these, you know, they generally retail for $99.99. There's going to be £800 worth of suppressors used in these tests, so I hope you appreciate it. It's coming out of my pocket. And it's also taking products off the shelf, because these could very well have been items on the shelf for people to buy, but it takes that investment to try and, you know, make a better product for you. So thanks for tuning in as always. I hope I haven't bored you too much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the link in the description where you can join the Discord group and you can find more information on what's going on with these suppressors and people's ideas and such. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.